Friends, today we have very beautiful topic, that is the Bhagavat Gita and business management, and it will be delivered by our dearest Armini and host of Philosophy Family, Professor Pramod Kumar, the head Department of Philosophy, Noyagad Autonomous College, Noyagad, the state of Odisha, and Professor uh, Das needs no introduction because he is popular with all of us, being the Albini of Philosophy Family. He has already conducted more than 400 webinars and for the cause of the students and teachers of philosophy. And he has a teaching experience of more than 30 years in different government aided colleges of the state of our state. And he has uh, already been associated with the different academic and intellectual forums in which he regularly conduct different spiritual and intellectual programs for the academic cause of the students and teachers of philosophy and other disciplines. And Professor Pramod Kumar has already delivered his talks in different national and intellectual and international forums, and you know it very well. And he has a depth in both Indian philosophy and Western philosophy, and he's a genius who can make the very crucial problems of any philosophy into very simpler discussions. And you know, he has a depth in the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, and he always tells that the Bhagavad Gita can be discussed from different angles, and Bhagavad Gita is a source and a key for human success, and and we can discuss any problems of human beings by taking any line of Bhagavad Gita. And today he will discuss how Bhagavad Gita will be helpful for business people and in dealing with the business management. And we have with us Professor Ranjit Kumar Bose, the senior faculty member of philosophy, Professor Avinas, and other senior professors of our country. They will make the discussion more lively for our intellectual cost. So today I extend my welcome and greetings to Professor Pramod Kumar to be with us as a speaker of today's webinar, and I welcome and extend my pranam to all the senior professors of philosophy to be with us. And we should not spare in time. Now, I would like to request Professor Pramod Kumar to commence his speech on the single topic, that is the Bhagavad Gita and business management. Over to Professor Pramod Kumar.
Namaskar, namaskar to all of you. Respected Maharana sir, respected Rao sir, esteemed Ranjit Ghosh sir, Srivastav ji, we have with us esteemed Bharat Patel sir and Jaydev Jana sir. Namaskar to all of you and all other participants. Many times we have discussed about, am I clearly audible?
Yes, very clear, very clear.
Many times we have discussed Bhagavad Gita from different perspectives because it can be discussed. Bhagavad Gita is such a treatise which can be discussed from different perspectives of a human life. I shall discuss some concepts of Bhagavad Gita which are directly linked with modern business management. First of all, we shall discuss the concept of mind. The concept of a mind is discussed in the Bhagavad Gita because the management of a mind is very much important. When we discuss about management, the basic management, the first management, very important management is the management of human mind. And that is discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. How Arjuna was confused and how he attained the state of Sthitaprajna and he was ready to fight. He was indecisive, he was reluctant to fight. That was one moment of mental state. And after proper counseling, proper education, he becomes a man of wisdom. He obtains stable wisdom, Sthitaprajna, and he is ready to fight. Mind is such an instrument we are gifted with that can function in the adverse situation. No science can function in adverse situation. No science. Because science functions when the given situations are compatible. If there is a slightest alteration, then we cannot get the accurate result from scientific experiment. Like mathematics. Mathematics is very much accurate. If because science depends upon the laws of physics, laws of nature, so we can say if there is a difference, there is a change, then we cannot say that science will function without being affected. It is only human mind that can act, that can function in an adverse situation. No religion, even religion cannot function in adverse situation. Philosophy cannot be possible in adverse situation. If philosophy is possible, that is the contribution of mind only, what I am saying about mind. Because in philosophy also, we cannot speak of the contradictory views at one time, because philosophy is also logical. When we talk about philosophy, we take logic as a tool. We cannot speak of a contradictory a view or two views being contradicted to each other. We cannot say. Therefore, there are many vadas, many views. If I subscribe one view and I become a philosopher, I cannot subscribe the opposite view at the same time. Something cannot exist at two places at one time. If this is impossible, then we cannot make it possible. So philosophy, science, and religion, they cannot function in adverse situations. Religion is not at all. All religions are functioning peacefully because everything is in order. If there will be any type of a crisis, then religious conflicts will take place. So it is only human mind. Mind is the, even our sense organs, they function according to a proper regulation, rules. They have their they have their autonomy. We cannot give direction to our eyes to see something according to our choice. We may use spectacles, that is a separate thing, but so far as the sense organs are natural organs of are natural biological organs, we don't have any control. They do not function if there is some defect in our sense organs. But mind is such an instrument which can function in an adverse situation. The battlefield where the Bhagavad Gita is discussed, is taught, that is an adverse situation. In that adverse situation, what happens? Somebody is going to fight against his relatives. This is an adverse situation. Because he has to protect dharma. Dharma is to be protected. But who are adharmis? Adharmis are the relatives, my teachers, my brothers. So my relatives, I have to fight against them. Is it not an adverse situation in our social life? We do many types of a compromise to speak anything which may be justified, but we avoid to speak because he or she is a relative. Many times we remain silent. Many times we do compromise. So this is the situation of our social life. So that was a civil war, and in that war, Arjuna is going to fight against his relatives. So this is an adverse situation. And in this situation, mind may be reluctant, mind may be indecisive, and the same mind will become decisive. So mind is the only instrument which makes us bound and which makes us free. Mind is the only instrument which is the cause of our bondage, and that mind liberates. So mind binds, mind liberates. Mind is getting confused and mind is getting enlightened. Same mind. Mind is immature at one time and the same mind becomes mature at another time. So it is only human mind, that may be the mind of a scientist, that may be the mind of a philosopher, that may be the mind of a religious person, and that may be the mind of a businessman. That mind only can function in adverse situation. Therefore, we all should respect our mind. We should worship our mind. world. That is the world of his mind. So the world of Arjuna is different from the world of Lord Krishna, the world of Duryodhana, the world of Yudhishthira, because they all are having different types of our mind can have the double function that it will be attached, but with a sense of detachment. Vairagya bhava. Mind should have a vairagya bhava. Be he a businessman, be he of any profession, he should have a vairagya bhava. He should have a sense of detachment. Otherwise, he cannot be attached properly in this world of changes, this world of allurements. He cannot cope with. What is modern? What is modernity? We can claim ourselves modern if we cope with the changes. If we can go with the changes. If we fail to go with the changes, we cannot say that we are modern. Modernity does not cancel the traditional. Modernity means we have to cope with all the changes. And what is the basic changing element with us? That is mind. Mind is changing every time. Mind is subject to change. So we have to make it stable. We have to control it, and we have to cope with our mental feelings and mental attachments. Otherwise, we cannot be a manager. Neither we can manage our family, nor any institution, nor business. To be a manager, we have to have a sound mind, stable mind. What was the business of Arjuna? Arjuna's business was to fight. But Arjuna forgot his business in the battlefield because his mind was not stable, because he was disturbed, because he was indecisive. He failed to take a decision. So he forgot his business. Here business means duty. What is my business here? What is my business in my family? What is my business in my college? So we should be duty oriented. We should focus on our business. My station, my duty. What is the duty in my station, in a particular station of my life? So Arjuna forgot his business and Arjuna remained silent. Arjuna was confused. Arjuna denied to fight, that I shall not fight against my relatives. Very often that happens in the business sector. Whenever we are doing a business, we should have a stable mind. We should have a determined mind. We should have strong determination. We should have a sankalpa, that is sankalpa. That yes, I shall go with the changes. I shall be modern in the true sense of the term. There are many difficulties will come. Business is an adverse situation because we cannot predict the business of the future. And in business, I am dealing with customers, with the public. So anything may take place at any moment. So the situation is unexpected. The situation is unpredictable. So that is an adverse situation. If I don't have a sound mind, then I cannot deal with the adverse or unexpected situations. So first of all, the mind should be stable. The mind should be determined. The mind should have sankalpa. Mind should have a clear goal, clear direction. Mind should be pure also. That should be pure. That I have a pure purpose. What is purpose? I shall tell. That is lokasangraha. That is also another concept of Bhagavat Gita. Because whenever I am doing something, I am doing any business, the purpose of that business should be lokasangraha. That should be meant for the welfare of the people. But here the question will come that how can there be lokasangraha? Because in business there will be cheating. Because when we are making profit, we are doing some profit in business, that is a hidden cheating. Because we are telling lie, we are making profit. So business is profit oriented, but making profit at any cost is unethical. This should be underlined. Business is profit oriented because for profit we do business. Profit making is the goal of a business, the purpose of business. But making profit at any cost is unethical. What we are doing now? We are making profit and the maximum profit at any cost, even going against the principle of lokasangraha. So that is another concept, lokasangraha. That means the welfare of the people. Because I am doing this. Therefore, in Odia language, we say that Gorakha Ishwara. Gorakha Ishwara means for them, I am doing this business. If they will come, the customers will come, the Gorakha will come, then I can do business. So they are my clients. So how can I deal with my clients? What should be my mind? What should be my attitude? So besides the fact that my behavior should be these things are there, but my intention should be very pure. What is my intention? My intention is the lokasangraha, that I shall do good to the customers. And by that, I am contributing goodness to the society. So by that way, business stands and business sectors can create a brand name. Suppose Tata is a brand name. Philips is a brand name. There are many companies which have brand names. How they got it? How they achieved this? How they achieved this target? Only because of this persistent effort. Only because of this honest intention that maybe profit may not be maximum, but I shall stand with the people. I shall stand with the ethics. I shall stand with dharma. That is dharma. Dharma is another concept. We say subha labha. Labha is understood. But what is subha labha? In business, in every shop, small or big, there is written subha labha. What is subha labha? Labha is understood. That we should have profit. Subha labha means that labha, that profit, which is which is attained by, obtained by the principle of righteousness, dharma. Here comes dharma, the another concept, very important concept in the Bhagavad Gita. Whatever we do according to the principle of righteousness, that is subha, that is pure. So I need that labha, I need that profit, which is based upon the principle of righteousness. Here we shall connect it to dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So there is also one concept for business management, that is artha. Artha is related to business. So in Veda and Upanishads also, we have acknowledged artha as a purusartha. That what is the meaning of artha? Artha is not wealth. That is a very ordinary meaning. Artha is not money. Artha is not wealth. Artha means meaning. The meaning of artha is meaning. Artha means meaning. So anything that is meaningful for my life is artha. Anything that is meaningful for my survival, for my life, that is artha. Anything that is required for my life, that is artha. Artha does not mean only wealth. My education is also artha, because I need education, and that is also a part of my living. I am giving education to my child, that is artha. So artha is, in the very broad sense, we can say anything that is required for life, for a successful life, for a decent life. My house is artha, my education is artha, my social status is artha, my knowledge is artha. This is artha. Because if we shall restrict artha only to wealth, then many things will remain unexplained. So we have to take it in a very broad sense. So that artha, which is very much essential for our life, very much meaningful, very much significant for our life, that should be pursued. Pursuit means kama. That should be desired by the principle of righteousness, dharma. Then only our life will be liberated. That is parama purusartha, that is moksha. So artha should be desired. There is no wrong in it. We should desire artha. We should have attachment with artha. Artha means my house, the education of my child, my institution, my business. My business is also artha. Anything that is required for my profession is also artha. My social image is artha. I should be very much careful about this artha, this meaning of life. And I should have desire also. I should have kamana for that. Kamana has also a lower meaning and a very higher meaning. Kamana means desire. This is a very ordinary meaning. But another meaning of a kama is attachment. So it is generally asked, how niskama karma is another concept of Bhagavad Gita. We shall attach that in business ethics. How niskama karma is possible? How any karma is possible without kamana? Here kamana is questioned. The ordinary meaning of a kamana as desire is questioned when we discuss niskama karma. How niskama karma is possible? How any karma is possible without kamana? And there we discuss kamana is purusartha. Kamana is a value paradigm. Here we discuss kamana is the root cause of suffering. So such type of confusions we face. We finds that kamana is the root cause of suffering. There we find in Purusartha, the scheme of Purusartha, that kamana is the Purusartha, that is the goal of life, that is a value paradigm. So here we shall take the higher meaning of kamana, kama, that is attachment. So you can have a desire for artha, desire for dharma, desire for moksha. You can have that desire, but you should know the management of desire. You should know how much to be attached with desire. That attachment is the problem. You should not be too much attached with your desires. So desire is necessary, but excess attachment to it leads to bondage. So niskama karma does not mean karma without desire. That means karma without attachment. Attachment with what? Attachment with the result, consequence. That means consequence must be there. If we are doing a business, there must be profit. There may be loss. Profit and loss are the consequences of business. So we cannot say that I am doing business only for the sake of business. That is not welfare. When I am speaking of Lokasangraha, my welfare is also included in it. So I should get labha, I should get profit. Otherwise, my good to others, including my goodness. So in this scheme, I can't avoid my profit. But in course of business, there may be loss. So profit and loss. So whenever there is an action, consequences must be there. But we should not be too much attached with that consequence. Neither should we be attached with profit, nor we should be so much worried about loss, because business is a flow. Business is a running transaction. If today I am getting some loss, then it can be good in future. So one should have that state of mind that if I am doing any action, for example, business, any action is the universal paradigm. Business is the example. So if we understand the universal paradigm, then we can apply that in any particular example. So when we are doing an action without having attachment, without having desire, it is wrong. Without having kamana, it is wrong. Kamana must be there because I have a purpose. I have an aim that I am doing this business to have some profit, and that will be my income. So how can I say that I have no desire? I have desires, but I should regulate my attachment with the consequence, and that consequence is unpredictable because consequence always comes in future. Action is done in the present, consequence comes in future. That future may be 1 hour, half an hour, 5 minutes, or 2 days, 5 days, 5 months. Consequence always comes after the action. So the consequence is not seen. Consequence cannot be predicted with 100% guarantee. We can't say that this will be the consequence. Therefore, we should have a mind of sthitaprajna. We should have a mind of equanimity that whatever will be the consequence, I shall not change my character. I shall not change my action because I have done my duty. I have done my duty, and the consequence, whatever may be, I should be ready to accept it. This is called karma yogi. So a businessman should behave like a karma yogi. If only doing karma is very natural. Everybody, every housewife is doing karma, every teacher is doing karma, every father is doing karma. That is very natural, and they are all attached to karma. We are doing something for our family, for ourselves. That is all attached to karma, sakama karma. But when we do something without being worried, without being too much attached with the consequences, that is niskama karma. So here kama means attachment. Attachment with the result, with the consequence. Second attachment is the attachment with agency. Who is doing? I am doing. I am a great businessman. I am a great professor. I am a great fighter. That agency disrupts the flow of karma. And that should be regulated. I am doing, everybody knows. I know that I am doing. But I should suspend the sense of agency, karta bhava tyaga. So vairagya bhava should be manifested in different ways. I should have a vairagya of the sense of agency. That I am doing, but I should, that I-ness, that mine, sense of mine, me and mine, that should not disrupt my flow of action. This is the second attachment, and this attachment is very difficult. We have to overcome it. Whenever we are doing something, we claim that, yes, I am the agent. That sense of agency disturbs. That many times many people argue that if you don't have the sense of agency, then how can we fix responsibility on you? So you have to admit that you are the agent. So this is not the way to criticize, because I claim that I am agent. I know that I am agent. This is my business firm. I am doing this business. You are my client. Now I am dealing with you. Everything, I am conscious of all these things. But only one thing that I want to suspend, to renounce, vairagya bhava, that is the sense of agency, the ego. Because that ego disrupts the flow of action. That should be regulated. Therefore, a successful businessman, if we shall go and take interview of them, if we shall observe their behavior, they are very humble. They are very humble. They are not so reactive, and they should not be reactive. Suppose they observe the misconducts of the employees, or they observe some that it is going against his business, but they handle it with a calm mind. They are not so disturbed. They don't, because that is the real secret of a business. Because business is a running flow. This is running. This is flowing, and there are so many customers in a shop. If we shall quarrel with one customer, then that will disturb the flow of business. Other customers will be dissatisfied, because there will have a very bad ambience. So a businessman should be very calm and should be ready for any unexpected situation. And a businessman should behave like a karma yogi. And we have seen all great businessmen, who are successful businessmen, they behave like a karma yogi. They are very cool. They are very calm. Their wisdom is very steady. They have patience. They are very loving. Okay. So that should be, so all these qualities we have learned from the Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita teaches us the art of building personality. How can we build personality? A very good personality. So Arjuna had one personality in Visad Yoga, and Arjuna had a very evolved personality in Mukhya Sannyasa Yoga. So there is a scope of transformation in human life, and there is a scope of transformation in the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Day by day, we should be transformed. Uttarana. We should be better. We should have a better version every day, every moment. So Lokasangraha does not mean that I shall do the best for others, neglecting myself. No, that is not business. That is not Lokasangraha. I shall have my profit. I shall have my profit. But that profit should be Subha Labha. That should be Subha. That should be good. That should be pure. That should be based upon Dharma. I shall not earn money by adharma. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is teaching that we should fight against adharma in order to protect dharma. So business is a duty. It is a public transaction. It is a public deal. So whenever we are doing that, we have to keep in our mind these basic concepts of Bhagavad Gita. Number one is Lokasangraha. That means we must have we should be profit oriented, but that profit should not be excess. That profit should not be illegal. That profit should not be unjust. That profit should be ethical. That should be appropriate. That should be appropriate, because there is a system of profit making. That wholesaler, dealer, retailer. There is a margin. We cannot avoid that. We cannot deviate that rule. That rule means that dharma. So we shall do business according to the rule, according to the dharma. So that will create goodwill. That will create our brand name. That this is brand name in business sector. We call that character in human life, human personality. What is your character? What is the character of this person? Now this person behaves in this way, irrespective of the circumstances, even in the adverse situation. In the adverse situation, this man behaves in this way. This is his character. Who can be trusted in the darkness? Who is impartial? A businessman should be impartial. All the customers are same. Similarly, in the battlefield, for Arjuna, all those who are in front of Arjuna, they are all same. Arjuna should be impartial. Arjuna thought that I shall not fight against my relatives. That means if they were not your relatives, then you must have been ready for fight. No, that is not the point. Whoever will do adharma, I shall fight against that man. I shall fight against those people who will commit adharma. This is impartiality. He may be my son, he may be my father, he may be my teacher. Whoever is doing adharma, I shall fight against him. Similarly, whoever is my customer, I shall treat equally. Suppose I am giving an example. Suppose an illiterate customer will come. A businessman can cheat him or her because he does not know a business, and he is very innocent. He will give whatever will be asked to give. Even he does not know, he does not know to count money. He is so innocent. But at that point, a businessman should not cheat that illiterate person. He should treat that man as he treats an educated person, highly educated person. So for a businessman, every man is a customer, every man is a client. And we should learn this from the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Because Arjuna, when Arjuna was reluctant to fight, Arjuna became partial, Arjuna became personal, Arjuna became indecisive. Then Lord Krishna tried to explain, tried to reform the mind of Arjuna. And war did not take place till Arjuna became well versed about the ethics of war. When Arjuna was completely ready to fight, then war started. So how to manage business? If you do not have that type of honesty, don't do that. This is a general teaching. If you are not a good teacher, don't go to the classroom. If you are not in a mood to teach today, then don't teach. Tell some stories. It is not necessary that we shall engage all classes by teaching the texts. But don't do injustice to the clients. In the classroom, students are our clients. In the business sector, the customers are the clients. So we should not cheat them. So customers may vary, but we should treat them equally, impartially. And it is possible when the mind of the businessman is properly groomed. So profit and loss, these are the hallmarks of a business. These are inevitable for business. These are the natural consequence of a business. But the businessman who has a sound mind should not be worried about the profit and loss. Must not be. And he is a successful businessman. And what is Niskama Karma? Niskama Karma is that you are just doing your business. You know, suppose the best example, the adverse situation, the example of adverse situation is the COVID period. In the COVID period, we have experienced that only business people suffered a lot. There was some relaxation for the government employees. Why? Because that is an adverse situation. Shops were closed. Nobody was allowed to come out. So and that continues for 1 year, 2 years. So it was an adverse situation. What happened? Many companies they closed their companies and also they did not give salary or even half salary to the employees. But I have heard many businessmen, corporate sectors, they have dealt with the employees very very justly. Somehow or other, they have managed to give them half salary, and they have become very kind to their employees. So adverse situations will come, and that is a period of loss. That is a period of loss, which is unpredicted. So at that period of crisis, how a businessman is dealing with the with his own employees and with his mind also, how he behaves normally or abnormally, that is the proper time of test. That is the battlefield. So adverse situation will come, adverse, and we cannot predict the future because the future is uncertain. We are in the present moment, so we should follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, how to control our mind, how to regulate our mind, how to groom our mind. So many concepts, or the concept of dharma should be practiced in business, because dharma is the principle of righteousness. Without dharma, the artha will become anartha. If we shall earn money by the principle of adharma, that artha will become anartha. Today, what we are doing? We are accumulating anartha, not artha. So that is not the purpose of a business. Artha should not be converted to anartha. People have crores of money, but they die even without counting their money. They don't know what their bank balance. They are shoot on the road and they die. They face an accident and they die. So too much money is not necessary. Accumulation of wealth should not be too much. So we should have justified money. We should have that wealth, that artha, which is regulated by dharma. So business does not promote, business does not encourage making profit at any cost. But profit making is the goal of a business. We have to understand this. We are not free to make profit by any unethical way. That is adharma. And that artha is vinasa. That is anartha. So we should learn that artha is a purushartha only in this sense. Artha is the meaning of life. Artha is the sustenance of our life only in this sense, because artha should be regulated by the principle of dharma. So if I am a successful businessman, a true businessman, I should not devoid the path of dharma, the path of righteousness. If I do that, then I shall be in bondage. I cannot attain liberation, the moksha, the parama purusartha, the true purpose of life, shanti, peace. Suppose liberation is a metaphysical concept, nobody can experience. In the empirical life, we can term it the peaceful life. Because that is the goal of life. And we attain peace when our mind becomes sthitapagya. And our mind becomes sthitapagya when it is not deluded false imagination of the consequences and the false imagination of the agency. So a businessman should be a karma yogi. A businessman should be a niskama karmi. He knows that he is making profit, but at the same time, he knows that he is doing business for subha labha. That labha, that profit, which is pure for himself and for the whole society. So that is lokasangraha. So business should be meant for lokasangraha. That should be through the pursuit of dharma, righteousness. And for that, we should have a mind of equanimity. We should have a mind of sthitapagya. For that, we should learn the yoga karmasu kausalam. So business is a kausala. Business is a trick. So that trick should not be detrimental for the society. So yoga karmesu kausalam and samattvang yoga uchyate. Samattvang yoga uchyate. That equanimity of mind and to be very much impartial. Samattva bhava. That my mind is so stable that it cannot be partial. It is that is in the court of law we have seen there is a lady who having the cloth on over her eyes, and that lady um, business sticks. What is called Rao sir? What is called that? Nikiti English ଟା କଣ? The stand, the
Balance. Which one, sir?
balance,
Balance.
balance stick.
Which one?
Balance stick. Yes, that concept, that concept has taken from business. We use that in business. Okay, and that has become the symbol of justice, and that is done with blindness. That even I am blind, I can see. Remaining in darkness, I am determined to do justice. I am determined to do justice. So that symbol has taken from business. So that is a symbol of justice. When I am doing business with that balance stick, I should be very much honest. My intention should be very clear. And such people become successful businessmen, and they create their brand name. They create their goodwill, and they become the ideal of the society. They become the inspiration for all small businessmen. So that is a management. Business management means we have to know how to manage with the business skill. Yoga karmesu kausalam. Therefore, today different universities, they entertain Bhagavat Gita to discuss business management. How? Because they they think over it, that somehow some teachings are there in the Bhagavad Gita which can have the scope for management, and that is the management of a mind. We should know the management of mind. So with these some concepts of Bhagavad Gita, like dharma, like lokasangraha, like purusartha, another concept I said, sthita prajna, all these concepts are connected with business management. There are some other points also. Yes, if some questions will come, we shall discuss. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Professor Pramod Kumar, for your very brilliant presentation on the theme the Bhagavad Gita and business management, and it is very clear, and also benefiting. And you have very clearly given the conceptual clarification of all the fundamental concepts of the business management, and which are derived from the perspective of Bhagavad Gita, and by giving the clear basis of the human mind, you said how human mind can bind and can liberate, how it can be a source of attachment and detachment, how it can function as a function in different adverse situations. And you have very clearly said that business leaders can act like a karma yogi or niskam karma yogi to be the successful business leaders. And as you also said that Sri Krishna provides guidance to Arjuna on how to live a meaningful life, and this can be applied to all the business leaders, because you said the business leader must have a balanced mind, that he must have the state of sthita prajna. So the teaching of Bhagavad Gita covers the different aspects of life, as you have said, like dharma, detachment, and karma. And the principle of dharma, detachment, and karma, sthita prajna, etc., can guide the business leaders. And the business leaders must learn how to make wiser decisions and create positive outcomes without being worried about the profit and loss. So that is, and you have also covered so many things that it's not possible to reflect on the all the points
Lokasangra,
that you have said.
Lokasangra, sir,
Yeah,
Lokasangra.
okay. Loka Sangha and for Shubha Labha, you have said so many things very clear. You have made a very clear exposition on our mind that how Bhagavad Gita is linked with the business management. So now I request Professor Dr. K. Omnana to carry on the interactive decision. Interactive session, and it will also very benefiting to all of us. Over to Professor Rao.
Namaskar, everybody. For a very clear and precise lecture, and also thank Dr. Maharana for the synopsis. Well, let us directly move to Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir to initiate the discussion, and then we'll look into others. So, may I request Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir to have his suggestions, his observations, and his queries, if any. Over to Professor Ghosh. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Now, what Professor Pramod Kumar Das has given in detail about different concepts of Gita, which are found in the management technique, I want to summarize all these concepts under three headings. Because what actually the management says that you must try to manage yourself. And who says this? This is coming from the mouth of the greatest management guru for all time to come, that is Krishna himself. So three things are to be managed. And what are these three things? Number one is the management of the body, and secondly, the management of the mind, and thirdly, the management of the time. So if these three, body, mind, and time, are properly managed, then we get so many the concepts of Gita which can be fitted into these three things: body, mind, and time. And these three things are the basic requisite for the modern management practices. This is just to summarize what he has said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, Professor Ghosh. Well, Avinash sir wants to say something. Yes, sir.
yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Let me first congratulate Professor uh, Das for his brilliant and very informative lecture. And he has hinged and rather focused all the aspects of the management that can be done through the Gita. One thing is very much clear, that the mind management is the precondition for all sorts of management. Because unless and until you manage your mind, you cannot manage your body, manage your empire, and everything of the life. You cannot manage the life. And this has been shown very, very nicely in the very second chapter of the Gita. When Arjuna approaches to the Krishna, Karpanya dosha nihat pahayang prikshami tvang dharma sammudha cheta. Now I have lost my wisdom. I cannot fight. And he was bewildered. He was at fix what to do and what not to do. And the primary task of the Krishna, the management guru, is to preach him in the way how to manage the mind. And then he says, Ashochan vashochastvang pragyavadaschang bhasase gata sunang gata suschang nanu sochanti pandita. From here he starts that you are brooding upon those things which are not to be brooded. That which has already been done, one should not brood on that. And in this context, when I happen to see that Buddha also, in the very first Yamak Vaggo, he says, Mind is the fountainhead of all the good and bad actions. If you root, if your mind is polluted, if your mind is tormented, you are going to be followed by the pain and suffering and ennui. But if your mind is calm and quiet, you can do the work accordingly, according with the management of the life. He says, Manopabangama dhamma manosettha manomaya manasache pasannena bhasati va karoti va tato va dukkha manaveti chhayavan payani. And in other words, he says, Manasache pasannena bhasati va karoti va tato va sukha manavati chakkango bhatu padani. Chhayavan payani. So, if your mind is purged of all the defilements, then you can manage your life in such a way that no obstruction is there to distract you, to disturb you, and deorganize you. So I am thankful to Professor Das that he has said in the very outset, the mind management is the root cause of is the root of all sorts of management. Now, how this mind has to be managed? Though in the meantime, I was not here because my net failed. I couldn't listen to him in detail. In the last, I have come when he has already finished. However, I can understand what should he has hinged upon. And the thing is, how to calm your mind and how to come in a state of sthit prajna, where you are in position to Dukheshuna Dugna Sukhesu Vigataspeha Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Sthit Dharmaruchita. And in such a state of mind, your mind can see the things, your eyes can see the things in a proper way, and a proper understanding can emerge out of that. So this is also one of the things, how to keep the mind in a proper situation. And for that, we have been given 3 paths to it. It is a fact. The man full of wisdom doesn't rely on the simple act and the devotion. The man full of activity cannot rely on the saranagati, devotion, and the pure wisdom. But there is a harmonizing principle in the Gita. And he says that through all these 3 acts and all these 3 paths, you can attain the same truth. Because when you give yat karosi, yadashnasi, yadjohosi, dadasi, whatever you think, you give it to me by surrendering, what will happen? That your mind will be calm and quiet, and it will come to the niskam. And in the same way, if you concentrate on the work and work only, then your mind will be concentrated to the niskamta again. And that's why it is said, Sankhya Yogo Pathak Dwala Pravadanti na Vipashiri. Those who think that Jnana Marg and Karma Marg are different, they are not understanding the things. Ekam Sankham Yogam cha yo pashyati so pasati. So what he has tried to spotlight is that for the Lok Sangraha, because whatever you do, he has very rightly observed, we have Purushartha, and the first Purushartha is Dharma. And on the basis of Dharma, you acquire the wealth, Artha. And from Dharma type, from piously acquired wealth, you spend on the Kama, and then you will attain the moksha. So there is a ladder, and very nicely he has he has a spotlight in all the different aspects of the management. I am thankful to him, and I appreciate him like anything for analyzing the thing in a minute detail. Thank you, Professor Das. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Professor Srivastav, for your your observations on the talk of Professor Pramod Kumar Das. Well, to start with, very nicely, Professor Ranjit sir has tried to summarize the entire talk of Professor managing body, managing mind, and managing time. And if we focus on all these three, then the entire crux of Bhagavad Gita can be had from this, and this is what is actually applied not only in business but also in the life situations. As we can see, it's Rabani Mr. Madam has even said that it's not just in business; it's in life situation also. That managing the body, mind, time, that's so essential. So before having my own observations, let us move to somebody other. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Professor Kumari Kusum ji with
Am I
us.
audible? Is am I
Yes,
audible?
you are audible. You are
My
audible.
net is some problem with my net actually.
No,
Okay,
no problem. You are all right. You are
okay,
looking very
Kusum madam.
handsome today, sir.
Acha, is it? Okay. Kusum madam, you want to say something? Yes. Kumari Kusum madam. Yes, please.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. It's a very clear picture of Bhagavad Gita and Karma Yoga and its relation with Buddha. Then Buddha said that everything is in mind. So I thanks Professor Das for such a clear picture.
Okay. Okay, madam. Thank you, Kusham madam. Well, anybody who wants to raise a question or having something in mind to discuss, please, they are welcome. I'll wait for half a minute. Okay, anyway. So, looking into the entire scheme, what Professor Das has discussed, well, I'd like to see a parallel between how things are working in the context of Bhagavad Gita and how those concepts could be applied in real life situations. Well, what Professor Das tried to see is he tried to give a primacy to the mind. So he says it's the most important thing. Even in the Bhagavad Gita situation, mentally disturbed was Arjuna. So what Krishna was trying to do is bring Arjuna to a state of a state of stability where he can work on. So also in the business field, what is required is the individual discipline first. So maybe a manager, maybe some employee in the business sector, disciplining the mind is most important at the individual level. Before coming to others, it is more important that how your mind is shaped up. And that is the first step in Gita, and that is also the first step in a business enterprise, and that is also the first step in the life situation. Number one. After the stability of the mind is attained, there should be a realization of the mission, will it be in Bhagavad Gita or will it be in business. Okay, you should have a mission. What is my goal? What I am trying to do? What I wish to attain. So that is the mission. Even in Bhagavad Gita, there is a mission. Mission is not who is going to win. The mission is to establish dharma. So also in business sector, there is a mission, a clear-cut mission. So I'm trying to draw a parallel between the teachings in the Bhagavad Gita and the real life situation or the situation in business. So now, once the mission is set, there is an allocation of duties. You see, even in the Bhagavad Gita situation, the war situation, there is an allocation of duties. What is that allocation? Based on your knowledge, based on your technique, your karma, your potential, you are placed in different sectors in the war. Not that everybody will be fighting at the same status. You see, even in the war field, there are certain strata, there are certain layers. So one layer has to be defeated in order that other layer has to face. So there is a stratification even in the army. There is an organization even within the army. The same happens even in the business sector also. There is an allocation of duties according to one's potential. There is a hierarchy. So that is working in the wars-like situation, that is working in Gita, and that is also true in business. And again, you see, everybody is connected. Even though there is a hierarchy, everybody is connected. You see how people, the soldiers, even at the head, the Sri Krishna and Arjuna, the entire army, what is the connecting thread? The connecting thread, as when Professor Das has said, it is dharma. Dharma is the connecting thread. So also in business, there is a team spirit. The team spirit that connects. Okay, so it's the team spirit that we can find in business saying, and it is dharma. Well, dharma can be a connecting thread even in business. So that's what when Professor Das was trying to say. Now again, what after all you see, he was rightly pointing at yoga karmeshu kaushalam. What it hints at? It is hinting at excellence, the moral excellence, the establishment of dharma, the moral excellence. That and so also more to do well, to excel in business. So the moral excellence, the moral transformation, the moral excellence that we have, the message from the Bhagavad Gita, that also applies even in the business sector and also in life. So what is the ultimate end in the Gita situation? The ultimate end is the establishment of dharma. That is the prime concept. That is the ultimate end. And what is the ultimate end in business? That is empowerment, getting a goodwill. What Professor Das was mostly hinting at is the goodwill. To get a brand, to get a name. Okay, not that you get a brand, you get a name by just making a profit. It is you get a brand when you have a responsibility, a corporate responsibility. You have a corporate social responsibility. These days, CSR, corporate social responsibility, is a great, say, it's a challenge for the business sectors, the business entrepreneurs, because, well, what greatly matters is what is your contribution to the society as a business enterprise. What is your contribution to the society? So taking a parallel from the Gita, so the contribution of Gita and the message of the Gita to establish Loka Sangraha, or the well-being of the society through dharma. And same also applies even in the business. That is empowerment of business. And that makes your business run. So this is how we can draw a parallel between the teachings that we have in the Gita and the business field. And this coordination can be understood making a reference to the various other concepts, like the concept of was talking of lokasam, was talking of nishkama karma. So these can be connected, and that's how the study of Bhagavad Gita would be very useful in the business sector, in life, and whatever field that we may apply, it becomes so useful. So thank you, Professor Das, for a beautiful lecture and for your connectivity. So thankful to this. Thank you so much. Well, if somebody, if anybody wants to speak something, or
Hello.
yes,
Yes, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Rao, I have one thing to suggest to Professor Das, that from amongst these three, I considered so far as management moral action that we are getting. Now, but the management of time, that is most important, because you see the skill enhancement or upgradation of skill, that is one of the important factor for the management graduates. They have to upgrade their skills. So for this, what is the prerequisite? The prerequisite is this: they have to first accept the change, because unless they feel that change is the very basic prerequisite, they cannot upgrade themselves. They will become stale, and they will whatever they feel. If they feel that whatever I think that is final, then it will be detrimental to the interest of the business. So they have to accept this very basic concept of change, so that they can enhance their skill. And for that reason, time management is also becoming very important so far as business management is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir goes and
Should I say something?
yes, am I audible?
Yes, you
Am
are
I
audible,
audible?
sir. Yes,
Yes.
yes, audible.
Yes, what Professor Ghosh tried to say is very beautiful. Accept the change. And this message also comes from the Bhagavad Gita. How, you see, we are taught not to kill our elders. We are taught not to kill our teachers. We are taught, okay, not to fight against our own men. But you see, the change was required. In order to establish dharma, you need to change yourself. So Arjuna was not trying to change with the old ideas. You see, what Krishna was trying to say here is you have to accept that in order that you need to establish dharma in the society, you have to accept the change. It is no more significant that you have to respect. Well, you have all respect for your teacher, but since your teacher himself has sided, he has taught you all over the years the idea of dharma, you should protect dharma, but he is on the side of adharma. So you have to raise the arm, you have to change yourself, you have to go against the age old beliefs, the age old norms of not to war against my own teacher, against my own brothers. So there is a tendency, there is a need for a change, and that change also comes from the Bhagavad Gita. Which now, from Professor Ghosh, I also could understand, could get a very beautiful point that Bhagavad Gita tries us, tells us, accept change. Thank you so much. Well, Professor Das.
I agree. I agree with Professor Ghosh and also Professor Sivastabji and also Professor Rao. Very beautifully, Professor Ghosh summarized that is body, mind, and time. Body management, time, mind management, and time management. Very beautifully. So far as human being is concerned, here the meaning of a body is different, and when we are discussing about business, the body of a business is different. Yes, we have to take care of. We should have a very good health. We should control our sense organs. We should have a sound mind. This is very much necessary. Raja Yoga is that also. We have to discipline our sense organs, and we should have a sound body, sound health. Otherwise, no yoga is possible. In business, what is body? The infrastructure, the salary of employees, the cleanliness. If the shop is not so clean, no customer will come. So many things that should be well decorated. Now this has become a competition. This has become this is a part of business also. We should have beautiful infrastructure and good staff, well equipped staff, well trained staff, and quick service. These are all the body aspect of a business, and that is required. Otherwise, we can't start our business. That is the base of a business we should take care of. I agree, and that is the asset, punji, and how many artha we have invested in that business. That will come under body. And about mind, I have discussed everything. And what is time? I have left that. But in time connection, I have told one thing, that consequence always comes in future. Therefore, when we are doing karma, we should be free from the future consequence, though it must follow. So here there is a link with time. But time management means Bhagavad Gita is focusing on contextuality. Many times I have discussed this. Contextuality means you may have a basic principle, basic dharma that this should be done. But in the changes of a context, in the changes of a time, you have to be very much liberal. The businessman should be very much flexible. So Bhagavad Gita teaches contextuality. Does not rely on the fundamental principle that it should be carried on all the time. No, the businessman should very much context. Suppose a poor customer came and he has he does not have sufficient money. Suppose 5 rupees, 10 rupees that is lacking. So that is a context where the businessman should be very much liberal. And I have also discussed about COVID time. That is also time management, because all days do not go well. We must have bad times. So in that COVID period or in any adverse situation, adverse moment, how you stand with your business, how do you stand with your employees. So that is also a part of a time management, because business is not a business of one day. Many businessmen, they are carrying through their business for 100 years, 200 years. So that is only their success is possible only because of the time management. Therefore, many good companies, they give a bonus to the employees at the time of Dasara or Kali Puja, or in different festivals. They are given bonus and also incentives. Suppose you have done good in business, then suppose an employee is doing good, then he is given incentives. Suppose somebody is sick, or the member of some employees are admitted in the hospital. So that is also a time where the businessman, who is the owner of the business, should be very kind, should rush to the hospital to meet the family member and also help the employee. So time is the real test. We are all tested in time. Okay, very nice, sir. I am grateful to you. Very good points. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Grateful. And also I thank Dr. Rao for beautifully summarizing my talk. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Das. Well, Dr. Maharana wants to say something. You want to say something, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir.
Yes, please.
Well,
Hello. Okay, no, I'm waiting for proposing vote of thanks.
okay, one more thing. Two things. Well, two things. Well, I have a network issue anyway. Am I audible? No? Am I audible?
Yes, audible, sir.
Okay.
Unmute yourself.
Okay.
You are mute, sir.
Okay, now it's all right now. Okay.
Okay.
Some connectivity issue problems here. Okay. Anyway, so what I wish to see is a small example to the effect what Dr. Ghosh spoke about. Accept change, and I was talking about accepting the change with reference to Bhagavad Gita, how change was so essential. And again, if you come to the corporate world, if you come to business, there is a need to accept change. One beautiful example that comes to my mind is regarding still photography. Say 20 years back, say the business firms like say Konica, Kodak, they were business houses doing lots of business, because during that time photography was so important. Now, they did not realize during the time that certain changes were required in their business attitude. They did not accept change. So, what happened now? Is there any Konica film available now? Is there any Kodak film available? Such a big business house got crumbled because they did not accept change in time. So accepting change in time, it's a message from Bhagavad Gita, and is so beautifully. It's an example applying to Konak or Konica or Kodak. Okay, the films, okay, photo films that were available. Now it is not available because they are no more needed. So in the business world too, looking at the situation, looking at the market, they need to change. Why I say if they don't change the strategy with time, they will fail. And Bhagavad Gita clearly gives a message. No, you need to be very much contextual. So context, which Professor Das probably did not touch well because of the time, the context situations, the situation, the context, that is so important message that Bhagavad Gita teaches us, that the people in the corporate world or the business houses, they need to see the context. And very rightly Professor Das referred to the COVID times. How could they manage the COVID times? The context was so important. Okay, not that the business house failed, they came better, they came up better because they managed time and managed the situations during that time. Well, there were salary cuts. What would they do? If their profit is not there, how could they give salaries to the employees? But still they survived. How could they survive? Because looking at the situation, looking at the changing time during the COVID time, they made certain strategical change. They made a change in strategy. So accepting change is so important. So not only in Bhagavad Gita situation, in all life situations, and also in the business world. This is one thing. Now, the second point that a question comes to my mind, whenever a talk of business comes, a question of profit comes. Profit is never bad, as even Professor Das as said. Okay, without profit, who will enter business? Profit is must be there. If without profit, nobody can think of a business enterprise. But the ethical point is, the breakdown point is, the profit of the business firm or a businessman should not be the loss of the consumer or the customer. My profit should not be your loss. Well, I have no problem having a profit. The customer has no problem in my profit if my profit is not your loss. And that is again a strategy, that is again a point, an ethical point that can be got from the Bhagavad Gita. My profit, well, my intention is profit. Without profit, how can I sustain? So my profit is there, but my profit is not your loss. So then only there can be loka sangraha. Then only there can be social good. Okay, otherwise it makes no point. Now, why I speak? Adding to this, one more point comes to my mind. My profit is not your loss. This is one. Number two, we focus on the profits of the firms, but we fail to focus on the losses. During COVID times, they made huge losses. We are not focusing on that. How could Bhagavad Gita help us to manage failures? So that is one point. That question would be of much help. How can how can Bhagavad Gita can guide the business world or the life situations during the moments of crisis, when there is no business house is stopped, but you have to pay the employees. Okay, business is not running, everything is shut down. How do you manage that situation? How ideas of Bhagavad Gita would help the corporate world? That would be a great question. If Professor Das could raise some on it.
Only one sentence I shall say.
Dr. Rao, I want to request all of you to think over and write something on this Lokasangraha and corporate social responsibility, because that is what is found in business these days. The idea is, of course, coming from Bhagavad Gita, no doubt. But the thing is, there are many things which we have to analyze, whether Lokasangraha is leading to corporate social responsibility or social CSR is leading to Lokasangraha or not. This is a type of the direction I want to give. Thank you.
Only one sentence I shall say.
Yes, sir.
So that profit is Subha Labha. That is justified profit So that is not the loss of the consumer. And second thing is, out of that profit, business management will be possible. Body management, mind management, and time management, all these managements are possible only out of that profit, because profit is the only asset out of which we can manage the body of the business, means the infrastructure, all these things what I said. Mind means if the profit will not come, always my business will go with loss, then naturally I shall be upset, because mind will remain in the state of Sthitapagya. Yielding nothing is meaningless. So a true businessman should have a profit, and out of that profit, he can have also time management. How? Because in many places it is observed that the owner of the business has treated the employees in such a way in good time that in bad time employees do not desire to leave the owner. This depends upon the integrity of the owner. So the out of that profit, the businessman shall be ready for the bad time, and he will serve he will help the employees from the stock of his profit. So profit is the sole goal of a businessman, of a business, but that should be subha, that should be ethical. Therefore, I told profit making is the goal of a business, but making profit at any cost is unethical. Okay, I agree with all of you. Rather, I learned many things, because business management is not my area. I am trying to connect Bhagavad Gita in with different perspectives of life. And the next talk, whenever I shall have chance to speak, I shall speak about the Bhagavad Gita as a practical Vedanta. We shall discuss that. Anyway, now over to Kailash sir or Rao sir to proceed further.
Okay. One more
Okay.
important thing comes from Bhagavad Gita is decision making. You see, Arjuna was confused in the battlefield, and there was an immediate decision. It did not, you see, the discourse went on, it is informed, it went on around 30 to 45 minutes. And there was a decision from not fighting to fighting. So decision making is an important aspect that we get from Bhagavad Gita, and that is so useful in life and also in the business world. So decision making, right decision making, and the right time, and that's the time. Decision making, right decision in the right time is a clear-cut message from the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, we will be left unmoved in various points of time in life, or it may be in business. So decision making is another thing that we learn from the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Das and everybody. Now let's move to Professor Kailash sir for proposing a vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Das.
Okay, thanks so much, Professor Rao. I was mindfully listening to the talk and to the question session led by Dr. Rao. And in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is stated as the greatest crisis manager. And in Bhagavad Gita, as told by Professor Pramod Kumar, contains everything, and it contains that everything that human being need to that it needs to have a meaningful life. So anyway, so today um, um, I don't find in words how to express my gratitude to Professor Pramod Kumar, the way he has described the connectivity of Bhagavad Gita with the business management, and it has benefited all of us. And Professor Ghosh very clearly in questions session said that how body management, time management, and mind management that is very crucial in any kind of business management, and it can help the business people to have their own life and to lead in their way. And Professor Avinash Srivastav, I must uh, uh, I must be thankful to him the way he has given the example of Buddha and others that how mind is the source of all good and bad action, and how mind, if mind is for human beings, that it can lead a man to have a successful life. And Professor B. Chandrika has also given the importance of the mind management at the root of business management. I must uh, I must be thankful to Professor Dr. Rao, the way he coordinated everything. He moderated the question session, and also he has given his own reflective thought that is on the way. And he has also focused on the corporate social responsibility and how decision making is also another virtue in business management that is for which they are also in Bhagavad Gita in the conversation of Lord Krishna and Arjuna. And Dr. And Professor Pramod Kumar Das has also puts everything that Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita, that is can be discussed from different ways. That he has also asked to give a lecture in the next webinar that how Bhagavad Gita is connected with the practical Vedanta. So we will wait for that. And Professor Ghosh has also focused on the time management, and in order to establish dharma, one has to change oneself, and it is also there in Bhagavad Gita. And Professor Pramod Kumar Das, at last, that is, has also given his response to all the question raisers. And he also simplified the threefold management said by Professor Ghosh. And very honestly, he agreed to Professor Ghosh. And he also given that how contextuality plays an important role, and it plays a vital role in Bhagavad Gita, and it also plays an important role in business management. And he very clearly summarized that in business management, Subha Labha is the target, is the aim of every businessman, and that is one can have an ethical life in business management. What Professor Rao said that profit, that ethical basis of the profit should be there in business management. And Dr. and Professor Pramod Kandas has said that Subho Labho is the target and the aim of the business management, which is there in Bhagavad Gita. Thanks so much to all the question raisers and to all the listeners to that to be present here to discuss and to participate in the whole discussion, and it has benefited all of us. Thanks so much to the speaker, Professor Pramod Kandas, and to the question raisers and all the viewers, those that present till now. Thanks, everybody. Over to Professor Pramod Kandas to wind up the session.
Yes, yes. We have one scholar here, Miss Henna Alwani. I am really happy that she is present here. She has presented one paper in Jaipur, Vivekananda Global University, and that was very good. Thank you, Alwani, Henna Alwani, for your benign presence with us.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir, for inviting me here.
And you select a topic to present here. Okay.
Sure,
I
sir,
had
sure.
I had told you there.
Yes, sir.
This meeting is declared closed. Grateful to all. Grateful to all.
Thank you, sir.